Welcome everybody here to our Extreme Comedy Show. That's right, Funny Guy Productions, in conjunction with your local 8 presents an evening of extreme comedy. That's right, extreme comedy. We got three great comedians for you tonight, and we're gonna get things rolling. We just got a couple of ground rules to set up before the show. Please, no audio or videotaping of the show without prior written permission. However, photographs are allowed and welcome. Please do not yell things out at the comedians during the show unless you are spoken to. Heckling does not help the show, and it annoys other audience members. If you still feel the need to try and be funny, we'll be taking applications after the show. So please, keep your conversation to a minimum and your laughter to a maximum, and we'll all have a great time. So right now, without any further ado, I don't know what an ado is, but we're not going to have any further tonight. We're going to be bringing out your first comic. He's one of your own. He's a funny man. If we can't make him laugh, Gary will. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your first comedian, Mr. Gary Will.
Mid-Act 15, man. How about it, huh? Let's have a hand for round of applause. All right. Just blocking your view. You move this out of the way, man. Can you see? All right. You know, I can't believe it. I'm grateful to be up here. I'm going to go blank. Actually, oh man, Frank. So what I got is I got about 10 minutes to do this, and I have a hard time telling jokes and telling time at the same time. So we hold my clock for me. And when it gets to about 8 minutes, can you give me a sign, wave at me, let me know? Maybe, can you flash me? Flash me about 8 minutes, let me know? Hell, why don't you flash me about every 15 seconds? Can you do that? Thank you very much, man. I'm telling you, it's great to be here. You know, I was supposed to be here 25 years ago, but I started getting high, and first time I've had a chance to get back down here. You know? I'm doing the 12-step recovery program now. You guys know the 12 steps. You know, I go to NA, I go to AA, OA, GA. I went to Canada last year. I went to AAA. You know? So I was going to start going to sex to SA. You know what SA is? SA? Yeah, it's not the store across the street. SA starts for Sex Addicts Anonymous. But I found out they have separate meetings. You know, they have the men's meetings and they have the women's meetings. So if they had them together, they call it an orgy. You know, and then I'd just be going looking for a relapse anyhow. So, I'm truly grateful. I put on some weight. You know, you can probably tell this isn't all t-shirt. You know, I put on some weight after I got clean, and I joined a club. You know, and I got a personal trainer. And I started doing some exercise. You know, and first of all, I go to the club. There's a lot of beautiful women at the club, man, and too many mirrors. I have a real hard time keeping my eye on what I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to get that camel toe or whatever. 3 angles on the mirror stuff. You know, those girls on the machine, they're doing this, and so I'm sitting there. I'm laying on the bench, and I got about 80 pounds on, you know, and I'm grunting and stuff like that. And I'm grunting, making these noises, trying to get the ladies to notice. And the trainer comes back and says, "Gary, for you, no grunting and no spandex." I said, all right, I can do that. So I get one of these exercise balls, you know, and I start working on the exercise ball, you know, and I'm rolling around on that thing, and I'm thinking, man, what are those chicks thinking now or something? You know, if they wanted to say something big rolling on a ball, they could have gone to SeaWorld. So I'll tell you, being clean is a great gift. You know, my drug of choice was more. You know, I used to love to get high. I just hated waking up with the paranoia and breaking out in handcuffs. You know, speaking of paranoia, is there any pet lovers out here, you know? Pet lovers, man, I got 2 cats, I got Boots and Shoes. Those are my cats, they're recovering addicts. You know, I had to go through treatment 5 times. They had to do a cold turkey in its own gravy. So, but yeah, I was standing in my kitchen one time, you know, the paranoia. I'm standing in the kitchen, and I'm at the stove, I'm cooking crack, you know, and my cat comes out of the basement. He's got this big butt of pot in his mouth. True story, this is. And he comes out of the basement, he's got this big butt of pot in his mouth, and I look over and said, "Isn't that cute? Boots is good." And I went from that to, is he stealing my dope? You know? So, true story. Next thing I know, I'm in the living room. I've got every cat toy in the house ripped apart, you know? Where's that tie stick I had? I know it's here, you know? I remember that one time a gram disappeared. Fuck, what'd you do with it? You know, so it's a trip, you know. It's a trip that, and then I went on the computer and I checked out a cat's age. I can find out what a cat's age is now. True story. A cat's age, a cat is first year, 15 human years. The second year, 9 human years. And after that, a cat is 4 to 1. So my cats are 56. And they want a divorce and half of everything I own. So, this is fun, you guys. This is great. I have a total of 6 minutes experience doing this, which is twice as long as sex for me. You know, so, and that's by myself. I mean, I love, I'm telling you, I love sex. I love sex, especially with another person. I mean, but I'm telling you, it's a hard road out there. You know, you want to get those diseases or something. So most of the time, I'll just practice safe sex and hold my own. So, let's see. Something new I got is the holidays, and this just happened. I had to share this because this just happened. Another true story. Easter comes along, and the family gets together. You know, I heard the speaker share, you know, I used to think that I had a dysfunctional family too, and then I found out it is me, and that is the truth, you know, because I remember, and then I'll start telling my story, the state of the comedy. So anyhow, Easter dinner, we're having dinner, we get together, we share, we start eating the food, and then all of a sudden the jokes start, and my brother's got this game that he plays every holiday. So we just started eating, and all of a sudden he comes up with, guess who I saw? And I'm going, in 40 years, I've never got this right. It's the same thing every time, you know, I said, so it's like, I'm not playing, you know, I mean, so he goes, well, guess who I saw? And it's like, John. You know, wrong, well, yeah, you know, so who would you see? So I'm thinking, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to write down a list of everybody I've ever guessed, and what's the next holiday, whenever we get together, and he says, guess who I saw? I want to whip, Pete, Sue, the bus driver, the guy at Domino's, the drive-thru, and I'm just going to try, you know, until he starts giving me hints, or I'm going to quit. So, I mean, barely done with that, and my mom's got a very similar game. My mom's game is, ready? My mom's game is, guess what today is? You know, I mean, and she's been doing it, and I think it must be an age thing because she must sit down the first week of January, last year's calendar, this year's calendar. Birthdays, deaths, anniversaries, you know, so she goes, you know, guess what today is? And I said, well, I don't know, you know, well, today would be your great-great-great-great-grandma's birthday. And I said, you know, and she goes, I think, she'd be 132 this year. And I go, Mom, you know, she died 47 years ago. You know, you gotta quit doing that stuff. So, and that's like, you know, guess what today is? You know, again, 40 years, I've never gotten it right. Guess what today is? Go ahead, you know, so she goes, you know, today's the day David got his first tooth. You know? My son, David, he's 23. So she called me last week. She called me last week, and my mom said, and she goes, Gary, and we're talking. She was so proud of me and recovered. That's what I was going to say, you guys. I get to back up now. I talked to my mom earlier tonight, and I'm going, yeah, Mom, tonight I'm doing stand-up in front of a bunch of pimps, whores, snorters, smokers, shooters. And she goes, Gary, I'm so proud of you. You know, this is a dream. This is a trick. This is a true dream. So anyhow, she calls me last week and she goes, Gary, you know, we're talking, proud, you know, thank you, Mom, you know, stuff. And she goes, guess what today is? It's like, I have no, you know, I don't know, Mom, you know, what is today? And she goes, well, you know, today's International Lutefisk Awareness Day. I'm thinking, I should mark my calendar. You know, so I think I'm going to stop there, man. I'm Gary Will. Thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, keep it going for Mr. Gary Will. Keep the applause going. Let him hear it. Great.